All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for more One Punch Man. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here. Welcome back to more One Punch Man. In the last chapter we left out on, I see you, Ogata, I see you, Kelvex, I see you, Henry White the Beard. Good to see all of you. Last we left out on, in One Punch Man, we were basically focusing, basically, I said Bakely. We were basically focusing on Garo for a little bit, as the members of Neo Heroes are trying to arrest him, even though he's just doing his job, like he's going through rehabilitation. They're trying to find excuses for them to arrest Garo, even though he's done nothing wrong. Suryu, who's the leader of this group, wants nothing to do with it, and he's just saying like, yeah, I don't feel like doing nothing. Then when he finds out that Neo Heroes has been lying to him, he's all like, oh, so you jokers have been lying. And they try to arrest Garo. But the thing is that they don't realize about Garo is that Garo is crazy strong. I mean, he fought Saitama. Even when he was Cosmic Fear Mode Garo, and still wasn't a match for Saitama, he was essentially the most powerful person on the planet at the moment, aside from Blast. So, even though he's been depowered, he's still incredibly strong for the rank and file of Neo Heroes. So, while they try to gang up on Garo, all of them are pretty much going to be blitzed, no less, a monster just pops up out of nowhere, and, essentially just explodes on the scene. So let's see what happens in Punch 233, the Part-Timer. And we get the name of this creature, and it is massive. It's like a super spiky looking kaiju. Threat level dragon, Hellman. And members of Neo Heroes are all like, another dragon-level monster?
Weren't there only 5? We gotta call heroes!
And mind you, one of the people that works with Garo is looking like, we gotta call some heroes, not knowing that Neo Heroes is trying to be the up-and-coming group now. Then we have Silver Bang, who's also watching all of this go on, thinking,
dragon, huh? The residents have already evacuated. This could get rough, but I'll aim back and see what happens.
Mind you, Bang knows that members of the Neo Heroes are watching them, because both Garo and Bang refused the offer of them to join Neo Heroes. But Bang is watching them, though. He's very aware of them. And then Garo's just standing there going, there. This is your job, isn't it?
Shut up, man! There's no choice. Defeating the monster comes first. No running away, you!
Okay, whatever. Mind you, Garo is unfazed by this creature because something of this magnitude is literally nothing to Garo. He's not scared because he knows he's stronger than this monster. But considering that every single member of this battlesuit brigade, of this bumbling battlesuit brigade, they're all terrified, sweating bullets. Some are even running away. Yeah, they are literally not built for this.
Flank it on both sides. Find its blind spot.
And while 2 members are running to the side, hiding amongst the debris, the creature just basically builds up something in its mouth and unleashes a fiery plasma directly on top of the 2 that tried to run to its left side. Like, on the manga page, it shows them running to the right, but they immediately get doused in flames. And they're rolling on the ground. The only reason why they're alive right now... The only reason why they're alive right now is the fact that they have those battle suits. But others looking on are going like,
my helmet! How do we get our helmets on?
And one of them literally pulls out the instruction manual for his battle suit. These dudes are not built to be heroes at all. Mind you, Neo Heroes isn't really an official superhero business, an official superhero organization. It is literally just made up of people who like the idea of being heroes, but it's made up of idiots. Complete and total idiots. The only ones who are not idiots are Blue, McCoy, and the members of the Heroes Association that are there to infiltrate the group. Everyone else is dumb. But Webby Gather, she's a threat though. She's a major threat though. I'm scared of her. But one dude just takes out his instruction manual and gets knocked in the noggin by some falling debris. Then next we see the monster basically just swatting every single one of them just over and over and over again like it's nothing. And as they drop like flies, Garo's just looking on, not moving, just going, seems you jokers need help. And he starts doing the same flowing fist of flowing rock stance. And even Bang is surprised to see this, like, And then Suryu walks up next to him, going, shall I lend you a hand, Garo? Who are you? Suryu of the Dark Corporeal Art. Never heard of you, so stay back. Huh? No way! And the same one who was screaming like, hey, you don't go anywhere, Garo, he's missing teeth going, pull out! Temporary retreat! And then they start running. Yeah, getting lost, creeps. Mind you, they are literally retreating while other members of the group are just lying face first lying all over the ground, unconscious. And Suryu sees this, and then he screams, not so fast! Huh? And then Suryu picks up all the unconscious members of this bumbling battlesuit brigade and drops them in the arms of just one person. Mind you, there are several people unconscious. Suryu picked up all of them and then just tossed them over as if they were nothing but dry clothes from the laundry. He just picks them up and just drops them. Don't leave them behind. After all, you're heroes, right? And then Garo's just kind of looking at him. You're with those losers? Sort of. I came to test you, not as a hero, but as a martial artist. Isn't this a bit much just to meet a moving company part-timer? And while Suryu and Garo standing there, this creature just blasts right down on top of him. And while Suryu's surprised, Garo runs headfirst towards it. Whirling wind, flowing water, and using that same fighting style, he literally divides the fire. He literally just separates it with his hands. Literally just cutting a path in between. This is literally like Kinemon's Foxfire style from One Piece, just cutting the flames in half. Whirling wind, flowing water. And then when he does that, he brings his hand back. Fist of roaring ki, rending air. He proceeds to just land solid blow after blow on this creature and kills it instantly. Hits it so hard that the fire erupts in its mouth, its eyes pops out of its skull, and he hits it so hard that the shockwave of his blows goes through this creature's body and just breaks it down all over. He's not at the level of one-shotting enemies like Saitama is, but he's powerful enough to bring down a threat-level dragon monster like that. And then Suryu is just kind of sweating because he's all like, no part-timer fights like that. And the ones who were working with him at this moving company, including the one that was trying to tell Garo, hey,
Don't tell this guy to go up and leave. Don't tell him he needs to continue being a hero. He just got this job.
they're looking bewildered at how strong Garo is. Because being in this moving company, as part of his rehabilitation, he has never really had the opportunity to fully showcase just how just how capable. Notice I didn't say how strong, because this ain't the limit, but just how capable he is. Literally bringing down a threat level dragon monster like it's nothing. And thus starts the path. And even then, while these movers are bewildered at Garo's strength, Bang can only smile, as if to say,
I always knew he had it in him.
Literally, just you don't even need to see his lips to know that he's proud of Garo in this moment. And I'm gonna say it this is the end of the chapter, but I'm gonna say it. This is the rise of Garo the Dark Hero. Garo the hero. That it just rolls off the tongue. But that's the end of the chapter. This was a good chapter. I actually like this one. This was actually quite nice. Let me see my live chat of the people who are here. There we go. Garo still got it. Yeah, Holster, good to see you. Tony as well. Hey, everybody. But this was a good chapter. This was a very good chapter. I am not even the least bit surprised that the members, that the brigade, the Battlesuit Brigades, I know that's not their name, but I just call them that because, I mean, but it does not surprise me at all that these members of Neo Heroes failed to stop a threat level dragon monster. And the fact that their battlesuits clearly don't even give them a smidgen of enough confidence for them to be, confident enough to think that they could take on a threat level dragon monster means that Neo Heroes is lacking in not only resources, but also intelligence as well. If they think, oh, we're going to replace the Hero Association, but our own rank and file people can't take down threats that the Hero Association takes down on the regular. So I don't know how Neo Heroes is going to be able to keep up. See, this is where McCoy's thought process on Neo Heroes, and mind you, I say McCoy, but we have no way of knowing if he's the one who came up with the idea of Neo Heroes, even though Blue is the leader of Neo Heroes. We don't know how much McCoy plays into its entire foundation. But the thing with me is that we see these members take on monsters. And the only person to actually bring down a monster from Neo Heroes without much trouble, well, I can't say much trouble, but the only one to bring down their respective monster and some other monsters without needing a battlesuit and a whole bunch of help was Blue. Because Zaydats, he got basically crushed within his own suit, body recovered by Edamin and Destro. The same for Inferschnave. He literally got sniped through the chest. So if those top leaders can't even bring down some of these high-ranking monsters, then Neo Heroes have essentially sent anyone who's not a leader up against these monsters like lamb to the slaughter. Literally just meat to the grinder. Because monsters this strong, we see heroes beat from the Hero Association regularly. And I'm not even including S-rank heroes. That we've seen even A-rank heroes bring down some of these creatures effortlessly. And if not effortlessly, with some effort. With some effort. But not to the point where you got people running away saying like, I don't think we can do this, let's run away. Only those who are on the far lower echelon of heroes are the ones who understandably are the ones who run away and want to seek higher help. But there's far more people in the Heroes Association who are capable of bringing down these monsters without much trouble. And you want to know, and I'm really piggybacking off of what Ogata said right here. It all comes from the fact that the heroes of the Heroes Association do not rely on external means in order to do their job. You don't catch any person of a lower rank in the Heroes Association wearing battlesuits to compensate for their lack of strength. Because if you take away, and we had this discussion before, if you take away these battlesuits from all of these rank and file and Neo Heroes, pretty much all of them would be dead the moment they try to step foot up and try to do anything. All of them. We don't even know their names. That's how insignificant they are. We know the group they belong to. And even I forgot it because that's how insignificant they are. If they were actually strong, they would have a name. But it's not even an individual names that they have. It is literally just a collective of individuals who are not leaders who wear battle suits. That's all we know. But it really does show, and I take this back, and harken this back to the chapter where Infershnave and Zaydats were literally crushed within their own battlesuits that were meant to be far more superior to everyone else's here. And the fact that these leaders were taken out in an instant as if they were nothing at all just shows you that Neo Heroes had put way too much faith in these battlesuits. And even Blue was talking about, like, if you rely too much on these battlesuits, we didn't get the rest of that conversation. But even Blue knows that if you rely too much on these battlesuits, you're going to put yourself into a corner. Because what if you face a foe that transcends the strength of your battlesuit? Then you literally have nothing to go up against this monster at all. So this just continues to show the over-reliance on these battlesuits that they pride themselves with. That it's showing that more and more people outside of Neo Heroes are far more capable than Neo Heroes themselves, despite how much they want the world to really think that they're all that in a bag of chips. But they ain't. We've seen it time and time again, and this just proves it once again. And it also does not give individuals more intelligence than they already have, because we've seen that these individuals who have these battle suits, they are no more smarter or no more aware than if they didn't have them at all. What makes you think that during the fight of a threat level dragon monster, I don't know how to put on my helmet? First of all, how are you out in the field and you don't know how to do something as simple as putting on your helmet? No. Y'all need to understand. It's the little things. Y'all need to understand the lack of common sense that are with these people that follow Neo Heroes. You would not have this sort of incompetence at the Heroes Association. Sure, some people may be a bit oblivious, but at the same time, you don't see them going out into the field thinking they can take on a monster and not know how to put their own. It's like being a hero in the Heroes Association and not knowing how to tie your shoes. And then you decide, oh, my shoelaces are untied during this fight. How do I do that? And then you get one shot. You got jokers here on Neo Hero's side, not knowing how to even turn on their own helmet for their own battlesuit. You literally got the pamphlet with you, and you wind up getting knocked out by some fallen debris because your spatial awareness is trash. This is Neo Heroes, the same organization that's trying to make the Hero Association look bad, but they make themselves look bad in every chapter they're in. Think about that for a second. Every single chapter they're in, they keep making themselves look bad, especially when they get in fights. I think the last time Neo Heroes actually had a major win for themselves was when Axel was fighting that super speed snail that was tearing through the highway. That was the last time they actually had a major win for not just, people using battle suits, but people who weren't leaders. That was the last time. Ever since then, they really haven't been able to do anything major in terms of making themselves look better. It just amazes me that this is what some heroes from the Heroes Association left towards? Is this really? And it just really shows that no amount of scientific knowledge, no amount of scientific and technological advancement is going to replace the effort that heroes from the HA have put in. Terrible Tornado, My Mask, Blast, Fubuki, Putty Putty Prisoner, Flashy Flash, Zombie Man, all these different individuals who are S rank and S rank and below. Specifically, people who are in the association have either learned to evolve themselves in terms of getting better with their abilities, or know exactly what they're doing when they're going out there, and they also know their limits. You don't see a single person who's in D rank saying, I can take on someone who's in S rank. You don't see people like that in the Heroes Association, because the Heroes Association has people with enough common sense to know that this is beyond me. I can't do nothing about this. Let's wait for some more people to come. Neo Heroes literally just has basically like stormtroopers, numbers to throw at something, but not the intelligence to make up the whole and actually do something worthwhile with those numbers. You got the numbers, but you don't have the intelligence. So, and I'm saying all of this before I even do like a major recap of what this whole chapter is. I'm sorry, it's just that this chapter really does solidify that Neo Heroes lacks all the experience that the Heroes Association has had for the past, who knows, several years. And they're just throwing people out there, hoping that they stick, hoping that they're able to pull it off. This isn't confidence. This is just sheer stupidity. We got battle suits. They're strong. How strong? Very strong. Are they strong enough for this monster? Probably. Okay, good enough for me. What? Who goes out with that sort of mentality? I'm sorry. I'm going on a whole nother tangent here. I got to read your comments. Let's see. This was a good chapter. Like the stuff between Garo and Suryu. I like that as well. The interaction was very minor, but spoke 1,000 words of what their dynamic is going to be like. Garo kept his abilities and strength when he monsterized without monsterization. Yeah, Garo is every bit as strong when he monsterized, but not as strong as his Cosmic Fear mode because he was empowered by God then. But less than that is still far exceeds anything even a whole of the people who wear battle suits within Neo Heroes is capable of mustering all together. Garo is one of the strongest people in the series. So it's like, you see the gap. This is the gap. And Garo's doing this in his work clothes. He ain't got no armor. He don't even have anything protective. He's got like a opened up, zip up, short sleeve shirt, regular working khakis, and sneakers. That's his battle suit. And he basically just beat this monster into the ground. But people from Neo Heroes, they need battle suits, they need helmets, they need battle tactics, they need all this extra external stuff. Garo said, like, I got my hands, and then just uses them. They've been relying too much on them battle suits, and them suits can only do so much. Yep. Suryu lending remaining Neo Heroes to other that are running and saying don't leave them behind because they are heroes shows what first thing that he learned about heroes from Saitama and others. Yeah. The fact that the members of the Battlesuit Brigade were preparing to leave their own people behind to save themselves just tells you everything you need to know about the teamwork dynamic of Neo Heroes. It's literally every man for himself. These aren't heroes. These are just mercenaries. That over-reliance is a problem. It's okay to use tools to help you, but you should never become the tool of your tool. The technique that Garo used is the same one he used against Black Luster and Bang and Bomb. Used that against Sentichoro. Wow, it has been a while. Yeah, their battle IQ sucks. It does. From Neo Heroes, only Blue, Webby Gatherer, Raiden, Ryuman, Excel, and A are only capable somewhat fighting stronger enemies alone. Others are basically either former low-ranked heroes or former civilians. Let's see how Suryu will test Garo, and that's only if Garo actually wants to be tested. Let's see, the other Neo Heroes I'm watching out for are the modified ones, Edaman and Destro, because something's up with them. Ogata, I've been saying that ever since they showed up. Ever since we learned that they are by far the most modified humans we have ever seen. One is 96% and the other one is 97% modified. Mind you, Webby Gather is so much lower than that. She's like, what, 60? I think she's around the 60 range. But Destro and Edaman, we know nothing about them, except they're like the background enforcers of McCoy and Neo Heroes. And every time they show up, something happens. They showed up the first, she's 71. 71, thank you, but thank you, because I was way off. I was off by 11. But every time Destro and Edelman show up, they're always doing something shady, and then they just straight up disappear. They first showed up, they were introduced, they led that one boxer dude who broke his arm punching Black Luster. And they led the other guy who was only moderately modified, who was apparently an underground fight, who was a modified underground fighter. They were led down inside of this underground lab. He was utterly terrified being in their presence, and we never saw them again. We have yet to see what happened to those two when they were led downstairs. Next time we see Redestro is My Hero Academia. My bad. The next time we see Destro and Edelman, they're picking up the bodies of Zadats and Inferschnave, and then we don't see them again. Out of everyone at Neo Heroes, the ones that intimidate me the most are Destro, Edelman, and Webbygather. All of them. I don't care about missing both of my fronts, Ryumon. I don't care about A. He's just a killer who's being employed as a hero for some reason, because it makes them look good. But everyone else who's on Neo Heroes, I'm like, yeah, y'all scrubs. Y'all are just scrubs. But Destro, Edelman, and Webbygather are the main characters from Neo Heroes that intimidate me the most, because even though we found out Webbygather's backstory, and all she's done is just to match up to the collective popularity of a My Mask, she's still crazy strong and slightly terrifying, because she's capable of realizing that, hey, someone's trying to tap into the database of Neo Heroes, and then just gives that crazy obsession, that Girl from Obsession, which I have not seen, Girl from Obsession stare at Child Emperor. And mind you, she had that stare before the Obsession movie was even made, but she had that stare. Like, you wouldn't happen to know anything about the database being hacked into, would you? Like, literally that. If it not been for Suryu, things would have gotten really awkward. But Edelman, and Destro, they're the ones that I am really looking out for the most, simply because we don't know anything. We don't know anything at all. And that they're probably getting to be cyborgs instead of dying. See, I would not be surprised, because that's been a thought that's been in my head this whole time, that, oh, they're being experimented on. Oh, they're being forcibly augmented. Who knows? They're probably being augmented and having, like, well, in the same way the clones were, and they're having like something that directive in their heads is all like, hey, you can only do what we say. You serve Neo Heroes. You can't go anywhere else. You're under our command. We modified you, but now we own you. I would not be surprised if that's what's happening. I would not be surprised at all. But let's go through this chapter, and then I'll bid you guys a fond farewell. So we get introduced to threat level dragon Helmon, which is basically this giant spiky bipedal bearded dragon looking monster. The brigade gets scared looking at it. Bang is all like, oh, so this is what this creature is. The residents have already evacuated. This could get rough, but I'll hang back and see what happens. Bang could, for all intents and purposes, he could just swoop in there and take the monster out easily. He could. But he's just standing there and watching, because he knows Garo is down there. And while all the other members of the bumbling brigade are running away from the monster, Garo's the only one not intimidated. I gave my opinion on that earlier, so we already know Garo's just literally built different than basically everyone in Neo Heroes who wears a battle suit. And one of them is all like, there's no choice, defeating the monster comes first. I'm like, really? The first thought you had was running away, but now because you're, and the thing is, Garo calls them out on what their job is supposed to be. Because right then and there, they all forgot they were part of Neo Heroes. They thought, oh, well, time for me to go. But Garo calls them out, saying, like, this is your job, isn't it? And dude's all like, why did you have to remind me that this is my job? Like, it'd be like those times where you said something to someone, but then later on you regret it, and you say you were going to do something for that person, and you hope that they don't remind you when the time comes to do that one thing. And when they remind you, you'll be like, all right. And in your back of your head, I'm like, you're thinking, I wish they didn't remember that. So dude goes, there's no choice. Defeating the monster comes first. After literally showing cowardice and wanting to run away first. And then he trying to reprimand Garl, saying like, no running away, you, as if you could catch him. As if you could catch him. So he stands there, and they're trying to come up with some good battle strategies that immediately go up in smoke, because when they try to flank him, the monster spins and douses two of them in just pure flames, just burns them up. And they're just screaming, it burns! Mind you, I don't think I screamed it burns, because it does say that in the panel before the guy says, my helmet! How do we get our helmets on? He literally screams, it burns! So their body isn't, completely on fire, but the battle suits aren't on fire. But their heads, though? Their heads was the only exposed piece of flesh that they had outside the suit. So that's the only thing that catches on fire. Imagine wearing a... Think about this for a second. We're going to continue. Think about this for a second. You got a whole battle suit. Battle suit's untouched. It doesn't get scratched. It doesn't get burned. It doesn't get shocked or anything. It doesn't even melt away from acid. But you only leave your head exposed. And you're thinking you're invincible, so you stand in the midst of some flames. Or you get doused in flames. And the only thing that gets affected is your head. Imagine the pain. So they rolling on the ground, heads basically on fire. And then the others who are watching this are going like, my helmet, how do we get our helmets on? And one stupidly takes out his instruction manual for his suit. Are there not classes or tutorials on how to use these suits when you first get them? This is standard. This is standard equipment 101. This is standard equipment 101. If you're going to a construction job and your job involves you being in an area where objects could fall on your head, do you go to this job without a safety vest, without a helmet, without work boots? Do you go to this job without these things? Or when you go to this construction job and you're going there for the first time, when you're being told, does your instructor not tell you it's important for you to wear a hard hat when you're working under these high beams because you never know, it could save your life? No! When you go to something that could potentially endanger your life, you are told the best way to keep yourself safe. And another thing, if Iron Man built a suit, you'd think he would get into the suit, not worry about how it works and all the faults and everything. Mind you, he did that at first in the MCU. When he got into the flight suit, it was all like, let's worry about all that stuff later. And he almost died, being frozen up, going up into the stratosphere. But no, he learned. This is such basic stuff. If you get a highly advanced piece of equipment, you don't just take it out in the field and you haven't even read it yet. This is the reason why I like to read instruction manuals. I don't build a desk. I don't build a bookshelf. I don't build a cabinet and go like, well, I'm just going to figure it out as I go. I'm not that good. I'm going to look at the instructions to know exactly what I'm doing so I don't run into any issues later, like these jokers getting their heads burned. I'm sorry. Am I getting loud? My apologies, everyone. This is supposed to be a calm reaction. But they forgot to add the most important part of the suit. I can't lie, that would be me, with the only exception being I'd be too busy panicking that I forget how to do something like that. Would never pull out the manual though. Gosh, no. Take my eyes off the monster. Nope, no way. Exactly. How you gonna take your eyes off the monster? Turning your back towards the monster like, let me read up on the instructions. And then dude gets cracked in the head by an instruction manual. I will say, it's like when the Marines had their guns pointed at Blackbeard and asked permission to fire, but Yamakaji said to wait for approval. Yep, it's just like that. I will say these Neo Hero nobodies really do remind me of the citizens in Sakamoto days. Just no self-awareness whatsoever. So, one dude gets cracked in the head reading the instruction manual. By the way, where do you even have room to put that instruction manual if it's a skin-tight bodysuit? Y'all look like y'all don't even have pouches to put anything in on these suits in general. Y'all ain't got no pockets on that thing. Y'all gizzied up like RoboCop. Y'all ain't got no spaces to put nothing nowhere. Where'd you get the manual from? So dude gets clipped in the head, well, clunked in the head. Those of you who grew up in old school cartoons know the word clunk. Especially if you watch Dick Dastardly and Muttley with the Dick Dastardly and his flying machines. Though that was my favorite show growing up. But they get swatted aside like they're nothing, landing directly in front of Garo. And Garo starts using flowing water, and before he can use it, Tsuryu walks up next to him saying like, "Shall I lend a hand, Garo?" And Garo's all like, "Who you?" Tsuryu of the dark corporeal art. And Garo's all like, "Never heard of you, so stay back." He's all like, I have no idea who you are. And even Tsuryu's surprised, he's all like, "Wait, huh? You don't know who I am?" And that same dude that wanted to run away, he's all like, pull out, temporary retreat." Yeah, get lost, creeps. But they're leaving their people behind. Tsuryu sees this, realizing. Because remember, Stop the Pigeon, I missed that show. Oh, you really are my people. Y'all, what you do? Stop the pigeon, 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 stop the pigeon. How? Oh, y'all really are my people. People who have grown up from the 2000 onwards will never know how great of a shows we had back then. What you know about some wacky races, huh? You don't know nothing about wacky races. I'm sorry, this is going off on a tangent here. But Tsuryu's looking at these people running away. And one thing I did not mention is how his eyes are whited over, perhaps reminding him of the scene of people running away when they were getting destroyed by monsters during the fight tournament. Because he remembers how he himself was laying on the ground helpless with no one to help him, and other people ran away. And the only one to stand up for him was Saitama. So he stops them so that they don't commit that same mistake either. And then, with every bit of strength he has, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like 5 people. Yeah, looks like 5 people. He grabs every single one of them, and in one big human lump, just drops them on the one guy, saying like, "Don't leave them behind. After all, you're heroes, right?" And then they take all these people and they start running away, with Garo questioning like, "You're with these losers?" And Tsuryu says, "I came to test you, not as a hero, but as a martial artist." And Garo's slightly, annoyed, but goes, isn't this, I got it confused again. Isn't this a bit much just to meet a moving company part-timer? And then when the creature blasts down on them again, Tsuryu is intimidated. He goes like, "Oh, snap." But Garo rushes in and uses whirling wind flowing water to separate the flames. And in that same instance, uses Fist of Roaring Ki rending air and kills the creature. And even Tsuryu's all like, "No part-timer fights like that." The movers are incredibly surprised, and Bang is proud. And that was today's chapter of One Punch Man. Once again, it was really good. Really good. I'm calling it right now. This is the first chapter of Garo the Hero. Remember how he used to be Garo the Hero Hunter? We can take the hunter part off now, because now it looks like he's capable of going in that direction. And there's no way that Neo Heroes is gonna hire him, simply because they want to bring down Garo in order to prop up their own popularity. But Garo is not interested in joining any organization. He's just working as a part-timer. So that chance is probably gonna go out the window. But This was a good chapter showcasing that Garo is, one, just as strong as he was before he went into Cosmic Fear mode, which is scary when you think about it, because Garo, when he was facing off against all the heroes, wasn't even at this level of strength. But this version of Garo was one who fully monsterized and had strength that basically no one could completely subdue. And only until he was imbued with Cosmic Fear mode was he on a level that everyone on Earth, except for Blast, could not, accurately contain. But now he looks like he's just as strong as his monsterized version, but he's still human. But yeah, overall, good chapter. Very good chapter. I enjoyed this one, especially seeing Garo do his thing. I'm proud to see the progress that Garo has made after all this time. I remember seeing him the first time, reading through the volumes of Garo, and getting to this point where he's now, in the process of being rehabilitated, but he's way more mellow than he was before, but that has not infringed on his own strength. So I'm proud of Garo. The same type of proud look that Bang is giving Garo right now, I gotta give that to him as well. I'm proud. We can all collectively say that we are proud of Garo because he has definitely had some character changes, some positive character changes ever since the events of the Monsters Association. Like, he has definitely become a tad bit more calmer. He's not as bloodthirsty as he was before, though he's still very capable of it. Because when it comes to him, fighting, his eyes go completely white the same way he does when he's, super serious. So he still has that fighting spirit within him, but it doesn't come off as malicious, which is completely different though. So I'm proud of Garo. This was a good Garo chapter and a nice one to introduce Tsuryu and Garo meeting each other. Now the question is, with this monster subdued, what's gonna happen next? Because here's a thought that's already entered into my mind. While Tsuryu is not gonna willingly try and take down Garo for Neo Heroes, they definitely could have a fight, which can have one specific outcome amongst many, but this one specific outcome is something that I think Neo Heroes will take advantage of. One, Tsuryu and Garo start fighting. Mind you, it's not serious. They're not trying to, take each other out, but they are sparring with each other. One of the theories I have is that this fight will be used by Neo Heroes to prop up their own popularity. If they're not able to bring down Garo, they'll at least be able to capitalize on any footage of Garo fighting Tsuryu. And then they'll try and, because they already have like a big following and they already have their hands in certain media, to try and spin the narrative that Garo, the hero hunter, is assaulting one of their leaders and therefore try to get some public backing to bring down Garo, even though it's a friendly sparring match. This is just my assumption. Just a theory I have. But seeing as how shady Neo Heroes actually is, I wouldn't be surprised that if Garo and Tsuryu start fighting each other, they'll try and use that fight as a way to make themselves look good all the same. And use it as an even bigger excuse to try and bring down Garo. Despite the fact that Joker ain't did nothing to nobody. So that's my theory. I'm liking Garo's new leaf, and I wouldn't mind a couple more chapters of it. See, this is what I said in the last chapter, where I love how they take side characters and actually dedicate some time to flesh them out. Where they're not just characters with names, they actually have some backstory and genuine good story that goes along with them that keeps expanding and keeps building on the world of One Punch Man. Because it's so easy. Well, I'm not going to say it's easy. It's so often to see different manga where you get side characters, you see them for a couple of chapters, but then you don't see them again, or they have no significance in the story. Whereas here in One Punch Man, you get people you saw back in the first chapter, and they're still showing up every now and again. As if to say, they still have a place here. They haven't just mysteriously disappeared, or one has just essentially forgotten that he created these characters and put them in the story. No, they're here. Cough, cough, Smoker. Yeah, it's been how many millenniums since we've seen Smoker in One Piece? It seems that long. But one thing and I'll keep saying this, I really like how One Punch Man doesn't just focus on Genos and Saitama, but also focuses on everyone else to expand on the world of One Punch Man, to make it so it's not one-sided to one or two particular characters within the series. We get to see all facets of life, not just from the hero side, but even from the villain side as well. So every person has a chance to have a moment of their own within One Punch Man. And there's no one singular person who's just a throwaway person. And I need to be real specific about it because some people we have not seen in the entire series. Like that one dude that was trying to make fun of all the heroes. Because remember when the Deep Sea King showed up and all these heroes were getting beaten up. And then Saitama came in and one-shot the Deep Sea King. And then this one dude with like hazy eyes and pronounced lips was sound like, or maybe all of these heroes were just weak and he came in and stole all the glory. We haven't seen him again. I'm actually okay with that. Though there are some characters that we don't need to see again. But when it comes to important characters who had significant moments within the series, I'm glad this story doesn't just drop them off and say like, well, goodbye, we're never going to see you again. Because even now, we still check in on the gorilla that was in the House of Evolution and the Mosquito Girl and the doctor who was part of the House of Evolution as well. We still sometimes check in on them. So what I really like about One Punch Man is that oftentimes it reminds everyone that they actually haven't forgotten about people. So when we get these characters appearing once again, we're like, oh, we're getting chapters dedicated to this person? Ah, okay. I'm gonna pay attention to this. It's like that. So I like that. But I also really like this chapter, because having a moment to see Garo do his thing after so long, because we have not seen Garo fight in a long time, let alone show off any moves. It's been ages. I want to say it's been years. Last time we saw Smoker was chapter 1117 during Egghead and 793 after Doflamingo's defeat. Sorry, couldn't help it. Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. There's certain characters from One Piece we have not seen in a minute. But I'm pretty sure we'll see them eventually. But with One Punch Man, this was a good chapter, and I am looking forward to the next one. Though I do feel this is probably the last chapter we get in July before we move into August, which is probably going to be a very interesting month, not just for me, but also for this series as a whole. So we'll see. We'll see. But that's all I got for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. To everyone who showed up here to today's reaction to One Punch Man, all I can say to you is, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Even check out my membership and Patreon, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. And because I know you're coming back anyway. Have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples!